Call the meeting to order. Ask you to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight we have some presentations and words to give out. On behalf of the City of Winston, we offer our congratulations as members of the Winston Volunteer Fire Department celebrate significant anniversaries with the City of Winston's. Congratulations on reaching these important milestones. We are pleased to honor your achievements and the part you play in maintaining your commitments to the citizens and businesses of Winston. Please accept our heartfelt thanks and good wishes on the anniversary of your employment. You are all valuable members of this team, and we look forward to your ongoing contributions to the City of Winston. It is with great pride we present the awards to the following. Jake Herzog for 10 years of service. No, Jake. And also 40 years of service for Jim Cock. Got a plaque for you, Jim.
How many of those do you have?
There's a bunch.
Oh. Here's 40 more, Jim.
Make sure to thank them on behalf of the city. We're not going to go into the consent agenda first. We're going to move all the way down to the organization report because our youngster has a place he has to be shortly after we leave here, so we'll put him on first. So, Winston Baseball Association.
Thank you for moving it. I got my daughter's kindergarten roundup. So, I'm Matt Rogie, Winston Baseball Association, chairman of the board. I help fundraise and help run the Winston Wildcats organization. Right now, the season started about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. We have a decent amount of players, so we're good there. They've won one game, lost 4 or so, but we got a young group, so we're trying to build some of that young group from Howard Lake and Lester Prairie school districts to keep building that around them. So in the past year, we've done some improvements to the field. We just finished putting up a batting cage. We got to do a little bit tidy up there, and we're planting grass and making that all look good for the community to use along with our teams that respectively play there. Some teams that play there is the Howard Lake Waverly Winston School District, both JV and varsity, some youth baseball association teams, and Lester Prairie's Legion sometimes dabbles in that field too. So, any questions for me from you guys?
Did you ever apply for Channel 9 to come out?
No, we have not.
Okay.
No. With that, it takes a lot of help from the community areas, and with us just hosting regions, we kind of were taking a step back a little bit on that. But it's definitely, if they keep doing it, it's definitely something we could look into.
Okay.
So,
If you need any help, Jeff will help.
okay. Get some Fox 9 connections, or
Not that I'm aware of.
no? They do about 5 or 6 a year, and there's a long waiting list, I think. So
Well, it's good PR for the team
Yeah,
and
for
the
sure.
community.
Yep.
It's neat to see how much that field is used. I mean, was there something there last night?
Maybe not last night. There was there
Sunday?
Sunday we had a town team game there.
You get great crowds, huh?
Yeah, we've played on it. I coach high school at Howard Lake, and we've played on it, I would say 8-9 times, plus along with some practices there. Along with Wildcats, we'll have 9-10 games also. I know there's some youth baseball there, going to be about 9-10 games, so there's some good crowd getters there, and it's good to get some publicity out there for that. So.
Well, you've done a lot to improve the park, so congratulations.
Thank you. Yep.
How about your batting cage project?
Yep.
talk about a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, so the old batting cage was kind of folding in. So we completely, with the help of the city, we completely tore down that. We graded out an area where there was some flooding issues. So we graded that out. And then we had some help of some local guys to come and dig 7-foot holes in there to put the posts there. And then we bought a new batting cage, and then now this should be good for 10, 15 more years. So, and it'll be fully lined with turf. We have a pitching mound in there, some turf-based, some turf platforms there also. So,
Any local businesses you might want to mention that?
yeah, I would like
help
to
in that?
thank I'd like to thank Ram Buildings for helping us there. Some other local guys that we'd like to thank, the Windsor Wildcats organization, the board members on there. We'd also like to thank Luke Long. He was a big help there. Ben Dusky was some notable help along with his kids. And I don't think I'm forgetting anyone else. The city of Winston, be a good one too. So,
How about where you work?
oh, AWI. Yeah, yeah, sorry, you put me on the spot here. No, it's good to see the community helping out, and
Yeah.
Well, thank you for all you do,
yeah, thank you.
Thanks, man.
but you're not getting a raise.
I know that's okay. Any other questions?
If not, thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, good night.
Gonna make it.
Thanks, Matt.
I'm gonna make it.
Hope you learn a lot.
Yeah.
Just to go on a little bit for the Winston Youth Baseball, and then Rick Ballman, who has done it for a number of years, has passed that part on to the HLWW Community Ed, and so there is a transition period going on right now. They're adding programming in all three of the communities, and I think we're going to have 4 teams that will be playing for Coach Pitch in our community. We have 2 teams that'll be 2 T-ball teams on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Most of the T-ball will be down at Westgate's Field. The machine pitch, we have 2 teams, and those will be on Southview, and then the coach pitch is between Southview and Barrett on Mondays and Wednesdays. So you'll see a lot more activity going on in those fields here shortly. We ended up as far as throughout all 3 of our communities for the Laker Baseball Association, we have, excluding the teams that I just mentioned, we have 12 other teams. So typically 2 to 3 teams at each grade level. Then a lot of participation, so we should see a lot of action around here this summer.
The individual that does our city mowing, is he aware of the schedule so that he can make sure the fields are mowed?
Yes, he is now. Yes,
Okay.
he knows.
Anything else?
No, I don't have anything unless you guys have questions on the youth baseball stuff for me. But
Questions on the Blue League stuff?
Nope.
Okay, then we'll move on to the consent agenda. Tonight's consent agenda consists of the following items. Item A, approve the minutes of the following City Council work session, April 16, City Council regular meeting, April 16. Item B, authorize advertising for bidding for the well number 5 project, contingent upon receiving approval from the Minnesota Department of Health. Item C, approve the pledged securities that the Security Bank and Trust Company has purchased for the City of Winston for the month of April 2024. Item D, approve the building permit report for the month of April 2024. Item E, approve the financial report for the month of March 2024. Last item is claims, approved claims list for May 21st, 2024. That's the consent agenda. I'm looking for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. I abstain from voting on item C.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. No old business, but we have a number of things for new business. And the first item is a city council appointment and oath of office for Mr. Tim Fury.
So at our last council meeting, we had passed a resolution for Mr. Fury to take over Councilmember Ebert's spot until the end of the year. Mr. Fury has participated on our park commission. He said for how many years? 20?
I think 14 or 15.
14 years, and then has also been on our planning commission. So making that next step, he should fit right in here with the council for the next 6 months here or so.
So with that, we're looking for a motion.
I'd make a motion to appoint Mr. Tim Fury, an eligible City of Winston resident, to fill a vacant city council seat with a term expiring December 31st, 2024, and authorize the city clerk treasurer to conduct the oath of office for Mr. Tim Fury.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Tim, you're up.
Here, Tim. You want to raise your right hand? Raise your left hand.
Do solemnly affirm I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and that I will council member in the city of Winston, under the above.
Congratulations, Tim. Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Next item, we'll talk about ordinance 0-24-02, map amendment to rezone the recently annexed areas. Neil?
Yes, so when we annexed in these areas late last fall, when they finally get their annexation approval, all of these areas come in zoned ag district. So this process here is just rezoning each of those parcels to be more conducive to what they will actually be used for. I don't know. I don't have anything else with that. Besides that, it was recommended at the planning commission to go to a 4-0, or was recommended with a 4-0 vote to agree to the way that they are sitting up there right now.
Council have any questions for Neil?
Nope.
Then we're looking for a motion.
I'll motion to adopt ordinance 0-24-02, recommending approval of map amendments to the official zoning map of the city of Winston as referenced in chapter 15, section 1, zoning ordinance, section 1501.034, letter B of the Winston Municipal Code.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I thought
Next item, resolution R-24-16, minor subdivision, 114 Linden Avenue East, County Road 6. Neil?
Yes, a few months ago, Mr. Campbell had approached me with the idea of splitting off his lot that he owns at 114 Linden Avenue into 3 lots, making for a minor subdivision. This will allow us to have 2 more buildable lots in the city, and as you are well aware, we are short on lots to be able to build into the city. In order to do so, we have to get water and sewer to those lots because there is not currently there. And Mr. Campbell has agreed to pay for the first $50,000 of those utilities. And then we would be taking anything over the top of that. It sounds like he has very high potential of having these sold very soon and actually being built on this year yet. Yes. And I don't know if you want to say anything, Jeff, or you had anything to add?
Really?
That's perfect. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're looking, here's the property, right here. And really, the way he's got divided will come just straight across on both of these lots. So it matches up perfectly within the...
Where does the services come from?
Service will come from Hunter Circle, so they'll be right there.
So that route will be closed down for 2.5 months based on the Herald Journal.
Yeah, it'll be a little bit different on this one. This one won't be... This is more of an arthroscopic surgery instead of the open heart
There was some
surgery, so-
sarcasm in my statement.
I got it. Yeah. Yes, it'll be underground boring is what it'll be.
Oh, okay.
So minimal disruption to the road.
Any questions for Neil or Jeff?
Nope. I can make a motion if you're
Sure,
good.
can.
All right. Consider a motion to adopt Resolution R-24-16, recommending approval of a minor subdivision of property located at 114 Linden Avenue East, County Road 6, subject to conditions.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Mr. Mayor, I'll abstain.
Okay. Get that? Okay, next item is the Winston Police Department Joint and Cooperative Agreement. Neil?
Okay, so as you guys are aware, we've been working on a few things here with the police department and working with Lester Prairie on a possible joint department. And last week it was in the paper, a few things from that side. So I thought, well, let's go ahead and just quickly go over where we were at and how we got to this point and letting our residents know. So the starting point, we started by renewing the JPA. We had to cancel the JPA for a little while when we were down to just 2 staff members as part of our department. And once we, as you are well aware, we now have four full-time officers, and we're able to renew the joint powers agreement for working on the weekends, and that has worked out really well. Then we went into those discussions, came into a possible expansion of the JPA. So should we be doing more? And with the Lester Prairie Police Chief set to retire in November 2025, talks had begun of maybe we should merge into one department, because Lester knew it was going to be difficult for them to replace a chief in that spot, and this might be the best for both communities. So possible merger discussions, I think, is really important to understand that the two becomes one. It is one separate department. It is no longer the Winston Police Department. It's no longer the Lester Police Department. It is something completely different. And coming up, I did a draft agreement just to try to outline a few things, and we had a few meetings and hammered out a few different items in that draft agreement as how things might possibly go. So why should we merge? Number one reason, and I don't think this can be said enough, is safety and response. So for our safety and response time, this will, and I have it down here, but it will reduce call time. And if you have an officer that's on duty, ready to go, you have a much quicker response. And with the number of medical calls that we're having now, we can get somebody there, and it literally is a matter of life and death for that person. Scheduling. This allows us to be a little bit more flexible in our scheduling and how we can have our officers working at particular times and being on a schedule that is more conducive to them wanting to stay around. Again, going back to reducing call time, that has been the number one reason that people would, that they say that they would search elsewhere for different employment. We'll attract more officers and coming on. And if you know, or if you remember, if you were here, I guess at that time, we had discussed having a 5th officer to fulfill our roster, and this would reduce that need for that 5th officer, because now we'd be having a department of 7 officers. Some roadblocks. So when I was researching police mergers, and the number one thing that came up was choosing a chief and what that possible roadblock would be. That's why this felt like an opportune time for us to organize with the retirement of Chief Carlson in 2025. Our chief is fairly obvious, I guess I would say. So our chief, Justin Helt, would remain the chief of this new department. So crossing that off the list, but I wanted you to be aware of why we got to that point. Some other roadblocks are the reorganization costs. just like if you're merging businesses, there's going to be some redundancy, there's some overlap, and you also have to make sure that we're using all the same equipment and who's bringing what to the table at that point. What equipment are we going to use, and how do we just standardize that for all of our officers? And I think that's another possible roadblock or hurdle, is understanding that these are all, there's not Lester cops, again, I said it, but I want to say it again, not Lester Prairie cops, there's not Winsted cops, there's whatever our new department is, and that's it. So all of the officers will be working in both towns, if that makes sense. Money, of course, with anything can be a roadblock. Initially, that initial budget, going through some of those pains of getting things set up and finding out where we have some of those inefficiencies might take a year or so. So trying to figure out how to, what those dollars are, and initially it might be a little bit more expensive for us. I think in the long run, we'll be able to reduce those inefficiencies, and it will be better for everybody. And then, of course, how are we going to split the costs? We are a little bit larger town. We tend to have, Winsted is a little bit larger city, and we have more calls typically. So how are we going to split that cost with Lester Prairie? And our next steps, narrowing down a budget. If you read in the paper, I threw out a budget that was very high view of 1.2 million, which obviously is a very high number. But that is where we were at that cost. I'm going to meet with the Lester Prairie City Clerk hopefully next week and narrow that down a little bit closer to see how we can move forward or separately. And I think it's important to note that if we can make this work, I truly believe it'll be the best for both communities. But we have to understand that right now we're in a very good spot where we do have 4 full-time officers, and we have a real dedicated team here right now that hopefully we can keep together for a long time. So we're not lacking in services, and actually we're ahead of a lot of communities as far as our police services, but I don't think we should pass up on any opportunity to look to make things better, even if we can improve it marginally. And this, I think it's going to be, this would be a big improvement as far as being able to respond again and having safety, not just for our public, but really for our officers as well. This should keep them fresh and ready to go all the time. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick update of kind of where we were, after that had come out.
I know a lot of our calls are medical. Do we know what their level of medicals are?
No,
Okay.
I do not, I guess. I haven't been in there.
The only reason I bring it up is if we are discussing joint department, maybe there's some way of having a joint response for medicals.
I think that's a direction that we could go at some point. I think this can lead to definitely sharing more city services.
Okay. Otherwise, if
I will ask.
we can come to an agreement, I think that it would be good.
So, Chief Helt, do you have anything to add that you would like to, or?
Yeah, I just think Neil's done a lot of work on this, and these discussions have, on the high end, been happening for a couple years now, even when City Administrator Burkholz was here, or ex-City Administrator Burkholz, and ultimately it just comes down to service. I believe we owe our communities 24-hour coverage, and I think we can do that if we move to something similar to this, and it's the people we work for, so that's the goal. So that's all I have to add.
I have a question, Justin.
Yeah.
You have 2 officers, yourself included in that have first aid?
Myself and Officer Lammers are EMTs, and Officer Moon and Officer Katuri are emergency responders.
Do we know what Lester Prairie has?
I do not.
That might be another avenue to explore. Because they may want to.
Right.
Just asking. Any other questions for Justin, or?
Police are always the first responder, right?
Generally when we're on duty, we are the first ones there for a couple minutes. It can be even more than a couple minutes, but typically we are. Jim's here yet, fire chief isn't, but there's times when I'm on call, I can still beat the fire department there too. So depends how well I'm.
Does Lester Prairie's Fire Department respond for medicals?
Yep.
Questions?
Or a fire in Winsted, there's an automatic call that Lester Prairie is over here. The same thing over in Prairie. Then for a fire, we automatically get called over there, so we can call.
So in a sense, you already have a joint powers kind of arrangement.
Out of the way, I guess.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Justin, so he can get up this time and stay up?
Thank you.
I'll just stay here.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's fine. Thanks, Justin. Any questions for Neil on this? If not, we'll move on to the open forum. If anybody wants to address the council, step up to the podium and name and address and have at it.
Yeah, Claude Weibel, 321st Street North. I know I brought this up to the city administrator 2 months ago about getting some of the storm drains cleaned up. I know the one across the street, that's, I'd say 6 years. The one in front of post office and the old hardware store. The other one at the other end of the block, I know are plugged up and don't drain. And I just wondering if, get somebody to clean them out, or?
Yeah, so we have talked with, I have talked with Public Works about cleaning some of those out, and some of them are scheduled to be, jetted here soon. So that's all I can tell you on that. We've
No, I just wondered,
yeah.
I mean, is it gonna be some type of a regular schedule then that's gonna be done rather than?
In all honesty, that's our goal for everything. We're really pushing to have a regular schedule on all of our stuff.
'Cause I mean, it's kind of a pain. And then, I know up here, the curb at the north, it'd be the north side there of the school is down in, so all that water that would normally go into that drain doesn't. It goes across the street and comes down my way to my drain, which really can't handle the water. And that if there's something they could maybe make a bigger
Put a
pipe to put in there to
emphasis
take the
and,
water, or a bigger catch basin or something, because I just cleaned it out yesterday because a lot of the grass that was built up where it comes from. I mean, I know they got a policy you're supposed to not blow grass in the street, but obviously people do it.
Yeah, I think all of those things help, right? And hopefully we'll be cleaning our streets more here and got a new
To me,
sweeper
it's
and-
not so much cleaning the street, it's a
Well, it's keeping the debris out. I mean, that's the idea.
people that, is there something you can do to these people that violate that? Because, I mean, you can see where it's getting done. It isn't
Yeah.
like they can hide it. It's right out in the street.
Yeah, I think probably step one is education. Maybe we start by stopping at their places and talking to them, and hopefully saying, "Hey, we can't be doing that," and then they
Okay.
just stop.
No, that's,
That's step one, and then we'll see how that goes, right?
all right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks. Anybody else? Tom?
I was contacted by a member of the Weinbeck family who had heard that we may be drilling a well in the Weinbeck Sports Complex field, and they were concerned about where it would be located and how big the building would be, so that it wouldn't deter in the future if there was a track built there or something. So I think all they really are looking for is that when we identify where the well is going to be drilled and how big the building is going to be, that they're informed.
And yeah, as of right now, there won't even be a building there. So it'll be a very small footprint, and if everything goes as planned, or if we can drill where we want to, it'll be right field of the baseball field. So it should be really out of the way.
So the northwest corner of the.
Correct. Yep.
Well, just to make sure that
Yep.
they're notified.
Appreciate that.
You have any announcements?
I have a couple. We have our new street lights are finally getting put up, and hopefully they will be lit up, or at least the first section will be lit up by the end of the week here. And just excited to see those, and long project. That has taken our public works guys quite a bit of extra effort due to where wires were located, and we've had to do a little bit of extra cutting, and so there'll be a little more sidewalk out and a little more sidewalk that needs to get re-poured. But exciting that it's finally getting done. And then our Winston Police Department has the bike rodeo tomorrow at 6 p.m. at Winston Elementary.
That's it?
That's all I have.
Tim, did you have anything?
No, sir.
Tom?
No.
Jeff?
Nope.
Jesse? Look for a motion to adjourn.
I'd make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Welcome.